Most men think that performance and muscle growth comes from eating more protein and training hard. That's true, but they're missing in the big picture. They're missing in the three internal systems or this trinity that will take you to a whole new level in terms of strength, muscle building, energy, health, and looks. So, performance and growth comes internally and then will be externally. And most men have the external dial in, which is eating the protein, sleeping enough, training hard. But internal part, which is very crucial, nobody talks about it or they don't know. And I'm gonna show you here how important it is and why you should be focused on this too. So in my observation, my experience, I'd say that protein, sleep, training would be 60 to 70% of the cake. And these three internal systems or this trinity is 40 to 30% of the cake. And this is what is going to take you to a whole new level to help you break this barrier that you're at of building muscle, strength, looking good, feeling energetic, having the best performances possible at the gym, recovering the fastest possible. So the first thing we have is the hormones, which is the power source. Hormones are capacity, power, recovery, and growth. I'm going to give you a couple examples here. Low testosterone is fatigue, slow progress, poor drive. And when you have high natural testosterone, you'll have aggression when needed, clean energy, faster recovery, and more muscle. Aggression here is not aggression of trying to fight people or nothing like that. It's aggression on standing on your ideology, on what you believe. Aggression on chasing what you want, your goals. Aggression in terms of having this motivation to do what you want to achieve your goals and all of that. When it comes to growth hormone and insulin growth factor, when it's low, you'll have slower recovery, lower muscle gain, the soft look, poor fat loss, stunted development, especially when you are in your 20s and your teens. You should be worrying a lot about this. You want to develop the best possible from your teens to your 20s. That doesn't mean that you cannot have some changes or some gains on your later 20s. And I had this transformation I'm going to show you here in a second. When you have high natural GH, IGF-1, you have rapid recovery, more muscle growth, denser, harder physique, better fat burning, better height and bone remodeling if plays are open. So important, if you're in the 20s or below, you should be worrying a lot about getting your hormones to this peak performance or peak levels. I'm going to give you here quick examples. Like IGF-1 is responsible for signaling the muscle growth, so you want this to be high for the most muscle growth. Growth hormone is the hormone of repair, to repair the tissues, the tendons and joints, and it will make it stronger because it promotes collagen synthesis, and this will give you the look of density. You've probably seen people like this. You look at a guy and say, whoa, his muscles are dense. He looks very dense. Compared to another guy, he may go to the gym, train hard, but he doesn't have this dense look. It's like more muscle maturity. So getting your hormones dialed in is very important, especially as you get older. And I made a video talking specifically about these three hormones. I'll link the video here so you can watch it next. It will be helpful, I guess. So this is my evolution. This was me at 21. I already had 2 years of training here, calisthenics, weight calisthenics and calisthenics skills. Here's 2 years later. I made a lot of progress. I'm here heavier, but I have lower body fat and more muscle. And I believe these things, this trinity, was a big part of my progress. And also my looks changed. And here I was 21. So it was after my puberty. So I made a big progress even though I've went past the puberty. So you can see here I had some sunken eyes, eye bags, receded jawline. I had a harder time growing my beard, and I had this sick look. And 2 years later, I have a more forward growth. You can see here in the image or in the video, I have more forward growth. I forgot the name of these bones are like the orbit, the cheek bones. Orbit, I forgot. It's like they grow a bit. I have a more wider jaw and a bigger jaw, which is something I didn't have there. So to show you that even if you're in your 20s, you can have some progress. And I think I look way better now than before. Example here of one of my clients. the power of the Trinity. We got all of these things dialed in and he made a lot of progress. So here he was already working out for a whole year on his own. And here is 2 months after working with me, we did all these things. And his strength went up like crazy. He added almost 20 kilograms or 44 pounds to his bench press in 2 months. And his energy levels were the best ever, best sleep ever, best recovery, and he made more progress in these 2 months than 1 year training alone. This is just for you to see the power of these internal systems. And if you're between 20s and 40s and you want to get your physique to the next level, get your health in check, get more energy, get stronger than ever before, and this evolution inspired you, you can go in the first link in the description, book a free call. Let's see if we can work together. On my landing page, you'll have every information that you need. And if we work together for a whole month and you don't see results, you get all your money back. This is how confident I am on this. So you have nothing to lose. You just get experience and see if this works or is just bogus. Let's move to the next one, which is gut, the fuel system. I'm going to show you here how the gut works. Gut is very important because it's where you absorb all the nutrients. So when you absorb the nutrients, you have growth. But when you have problems with your gut, with your digestion, this is what happens. So when you have bad lifestyle, drugs, bad sleep, alcohol, when you eat foods that are hard to digest and have anti-nutrients, eating bad food, junk food, antibiotics, this will destroy your gut and will cause inflammation. And foods that are hard to digest can be foods that are not considered unhealthy. It could be bread, beans, some vegetables. These foods are harder to digest, can cause some problems with digestion for some people. There are people that are more sensible, can have these problems. And I once one of these people, I had lots of gut issues growing up and I fixed them all. And this is what is in my coaching too. I help people fix their guts, improve their guts to the next level so they can have more energy, better health, build muscle faster, because gut is very important because that's where you absorb all the nutrients to get you the strongest possible, have more energy, better performance, and all of that. So when you have inflammation in the gut, you have the bloating, the irritability, hard time going to the bathroom, brain fog, and poor focus. I've went through this, and this is a horrible thing. And when you fix this thing, you feel like you're powerful, you're in the top of the world. If you are watching this and you've been through this, you know what I'm talking about. And then what happens is when you have all these problems is that nutrient absorption suffers. And this will get you poor development, especially when you're in teens, at your 20s. You develop nutrient deficiency, slower muscle growth, poor hormones and neurotransmitters. Hormones and neurotransmitters are very important. Hormones, I just said, and neurotransmitters influence your hunger levels, your motivation levels. It affects your sleep too. So you have to get this thing dialed in. Your gut has to be dialed in. And when you have all these problems, you start developing immune problems in the long run. Immune conditions such as skin or any other immune condition, you start becoming unhealthy and depressed. Then we have CNS, the command center. And also, before that, I've made a video on your gut. I made a lot of videos on the gut. I'll link it here so you can watch after this video. I think it will be very helpful if your gut is a mess. So CNS, the command center. CNS drives strength. So is the following. Your brain gives the muscles a signal and the muscles give the output. And when this is not working well, you'll not have the best output, right? And one important thing is if you fry your CNS, your lift will weaken, your motivation dies, recovery slows, hormone crash, coordination and skills drop, sensitivity to pain increases, sleep quality tanks, reducing digestion and appetite, weaker immune system. And I've been through all of this, and this is horrible. And the more experience I get with training, the more I think about recovery, the more I promote recovery, because I know how this sucks and this will kill your performance in the gym. You can injure yourself pretty fast. And a lot of people commit this mistake. They train too hard. They think that doing more is better for getting stronger or building more muscle, and it's not the case. You should be worrying a lot about recovery, and this is what I do in my coaching too. A lot of people say, whoa, it seems like it's not much. We're not doing much. But in 2 months, 1 month, they say, oh, I've made a lot of progress and I didn't do that much because the recovery was on point. And when your recovery is on point, your hormones will be on point. And what you need for a good CNS is fats, minerals, deep sleep, and low inflammation eating or diet. This will help rebuild the CNS faster than anything else. And then there's lifestyle changes that you have to do to make this be the best as possible, like being in a parasympathetic state or a state of calmness. Not let your cortisol spike that much because this influences your CNS. And how this trinity works: when you have the power, which is the hormones that fuel the gut, plus the command, you have peak performance, peak health, and muscle, and you look better, the best ever. When your hormones, gut, and CNS align, you get higher testosterone, faster recovery, stronger lifts, more muscle, clearer focus, more energy, you look better. To build more muscle, have more energy, more focus, get healthier, have better hormones, get stronger, it's not about doing more, but I'd say doing less. It's about removing the things that is breaking your biology or suppressing your biology. This is me when I was doing more. I was training skills and strength at the same time, calisthenic skills and calisthenics for strength with weight. I was focusing on protein intake. I was drinking coffee on an empty stomach. I was fasting sometimes. I was eating too much grains. Focus was not great. Here I was trying to do all of these hacks to get more energy, to get stronger, to have a better body. But I think it was not working out that well. This was the starting point of everything I've been doing till the point that I'm today. From there, I started learning more, experimenting more to get to the point where I am today. Here, I was already training for 2 years. I had 2 years of experience with training. But since I was doing too much, I was training skills and strength at the same time, I didn't make that much progress in terms of physique. This is 2021 and this is 2023. 2 years later, I made a huge progress. And you can see here that my face changed due to the nutrients, due to giving my biology what it needs. I got more energetic, more focused. My face changed. I got a better jawline, more forward growth, a wider jaw. And I think he made me look better, and now I can grow a full beard when here I couldn't do it. What I did here and what I'm doing now is focusing on nutrient density. I'm training less, I'm relaxing and having sun as much as possible to be in this parasympathetic state, which will calm your nervous system, which will help you recover better, which will help you be happier and regulate your circadian rhythm, your neurotransmitters, all of these little things that are important for you to feel great, to feel energetic, to feel motivated. My digestion is better. I focus a lot on digestion. I have better focus. I have more energy. I can sit down and work for 3-4 hours straight without distractions. I have energy to work, then go to the gym, come back, work some more, go out, do this, do that. I have stable energy throughout all the day. And the thing is, I didn't push harder. I didn't add more supplements. I didn't chase hacks. Fact is, I just chilled and did the smallest thing with the biggest return. This is the concept of asymmetry. What is the tiniest thing that you can do that will give you the biggest return? What is the most little input that you can put here that will give you the biggest return? This is how I try to operate nowadays. And basically, this is what I did and what I'm doing. And I had this transformation with my health, strength, physique. This does not mean not working hard. You still work hard, but you are very selective with what you do. This is basically the definition of working smart, training smart. And by the way, these are things I teach in my coaching. It's not just a program and nutrition. I teach everything that is needed for my clients to succeed with energy, focus, even daily life, lifestyle, all of these little changes, little things that will make your progress skyrocket. It's just building muscle and getting a six-pack, but feeling healthier, better hormones, better digestion. So if this is you, go in the first link in the description. You'll find every information that you need about my coaching. If you're interested, book a call and let's see if we can work together. What I stopped doing. I stop at counting calories and macros, no carbs early in the morning, cut a lot of vegetables and grains. I'm training with less frequency. I remove pasteurized dairy, no phone the first 3 to 4 hours in the day, no processed stuff ever. I'll go into details in each of them. So, calories and macros. I basically went from this to this. Prep meals, eating the gym bro diet, healthy, supposedly healthy, to this, a simpler diet. I don't cook that much. It gives more energy. My hormones are better. I have better output in the gym. And this, because of doing this, I have less stress, better hunger signals, more stable energy, better output in the gym. I build muscle faster. And why it work? Because constant tracking equals mental stress and wasting time. Raises cortisol. High cortisol suppresses testosterone. Disconnected from my natural hunger and fullness hormones, focusing on nutrient density. This is a problem that I've noticed with me, and probably people that track their macros and calories feel. Even though you will still feel hungry, you're not satisfied, you don't eat because you've hit your daily macros. I don't like that because your body knows best what it needs. Your body knows when it needs more protein, more carbs, more fats. It gives signals. And to know these signals, it takes experience or someone that knows to tell you, oh, you may need this or you may need that. And when you focus on nutrient density, you feel more energetic, your hunger levels are all even now. You don't have cravings ever. I don't ever have cravings because I focus on having the most nutrient dense foods and feed my body what it needs, so I don't have cravings. Now, no early morning carbs. Why? Because it gives me more focus, more stable energy, less brain fog. I would recommend having carbs in the morning only if you're going to work out right after or you have a very physical work. You work in construction or something like that. You may need some carbs to give you the extra power to carry heavy stuff and all of that. And why it works? Because morning carbs spike the insulin. And when your insulin is high, your blood sugar will crash right after. This is what happens to a lot of people. They eat breakfast full of sugar, full of carbs, and a few minutes they have the spike of energy, but a few minutes later it tanks and they feel lethargic, they feel anxious, they have this crazy hunger and cravings. They need to eat more carbs to get their energy back, and usually what happens is that they eat way too much and they shouldn't. Is why they get fat and their energy levels are unstable, their focus levels are unstable, and that's horrible. And staying fat, protein-based, equals stable ketone plus dopamine function. This way I'm more focused because my dopamine levels are in low, and this makes me able to focus and work without getting distracted or getting bored. Now, removing grains, most vegetables, and pasteurized dairy. By removing these things, I have better digestion, less bloating, clearer mind. Why it works? Because grains irritate the gut lining. Most people will find this true, that grains irritate their gut, or if they don't know, is just remove grains for a whole week. You'll see that how you feel, how good you feel. Many vegetables contain anti-nutrients, oxalates, lectins, phytates, such as cruciferous vegetables, grains, legumes, beans. These foods contain anti-nutrients. They are very irritating to the gut for most people. Damaged gut equals poor nutrient absorption. If you don't absorb the nutrients properly, you'll have lower energy. Your ability to build muscle will be lower, and also strength. Pasteurization destroys the enzymes, and these will denature the protein also, and this will cause inflammation. And damaged digestion will be equal to poor nutrient uptake. The same thing, you will not be able to absorb the nutrients properly. When it comes to training, here I was doing 5 times, and when it comes to training, here I was doing 5 to 6 days a week, and nowadays it's 3 to 4 max. Like I said, I was doing too much skills and strength at the same time, and that didn't work out that well. And why this works? Because too much volume will fry your nervous system very fast, and you need to deload very frequently. High frequency and high volume will chronically elevate cortisol. And I've been through this, and this sucks. You cannot sleep well. Your nervous system is fried. You cannot think properly. You get irritated quickly. And the important thing here is that high frequency is very important for you to get stronger, but you have to get your volume dialed in. High frequency doesn't mean automatically you'll have high volume and intensity. You can have a good volume and a high frequency. Recovery is where the muscles and strength are built, more intent in the reps and a session. Nowadays, the more advanced I get, the stronger I get, the more muscle I build, the more I focus on recovery because I know how it affects my output in the gym. Because not just the muscle, it's the joints. It's more important. The joints, if they're not recovered, you have higher chance of getting injured. You'll not be as strong. You have more intense in the reps and the sessions because you have a certain number of rep sessions and reps to do a weekly. So you have to go all in on them, be focused to do them as best as you can. Now, no phone in the morning. No phone in the morning will give you more focus, more motivation, clearer thinking, more creativity. And why it works? Because when you wake up, you go to social media and you have this instant dopamine spike. Afterwards, you cannot do boring things like working or being creative because you've hit your dopamine with a big load, and this way will make you kind of retarded. You cannot focus on things that are not as strong. Let's say you cannot read, you cannot sit and read a book and do these things that you need that requires a less of a dopamine. High early dopamine equals lower baseline all day long. Yes, your mornings you have to get, I think your mornings are the most important. You have to get them everything right in the morning. Your dopamine levels, your nutrition, all of these things will influence everything you do throughout the day. And when you have these big hits in the morning, the things that you do throughout the day will become bored. A lot of people get anxious and depressed because of this. And a low baseline will equal weak motivation and brain fog. And you don't want to be in this position. And after doing all of these things, what happened? Well, I have less stress, higher testosterone, calmer nervous system, better digestion, more energy, focus, muscle, strength, and I'm feeling better. Everyone thinks that recovery is about supplements, pills, powders, and gadgets, but no. Recovery is all about your nervous system and hormones. And when you get these two things dialed in, you'll make faster progress in strength and muscle than ever before. You'll improve your sleep and motivation, which will make you make even more progress in terms of health, strength, and muscle building. And so you can have this transformation. You can go from this to this as fast as possible. By the way, this is what I teach in my coaching. All of these little things that will get your physique, your strength to a whole new level, improving your sleep, your digestion, your energy, and all of these internal systems that will take you to a whole new level that you've never seen before in terms of strength, health, and physique. It's basically turning you into a super soldier. So if you're interested, go in the first link in the description. You'll have every information that you need. And now, why supplements and gadgets don't work? Well, most recovery products fails because powders are denatured and hard to digest, so you don't absorb and utilize the minerals, the protein, or whatever is in it. And since you lack enzymes, the absorption and utilization of that mineral nutrient will be even higher and is not the same as you find in foods. What you find in powders and supplements is not the same that you find in food. Then, secondly, pills don't fix sleep, hormones, or stress. Gadgets treat symptoms, not the root cause. They add stimulation, not restoration. And also you have the EMF exposure from those gadgets that you put in your wrist to tell you your heart rate, your sleep, all of this, which is not a good thing. And this is very similar to the medical industry. They only treat the symptoms, never treat the root cause. They give you a short boost, but never rebuild the system. They never fix the root cause of low energy, bad digestion, poor recovery. And you get stuck in this loop for years to come. Now, what is the problem? Most men are stuck in sympathetic mode, fight or flight, low rest digestive state, and this is very bad for recovery. When you are in this fight or flight mode, you're very stiff. Your nervous system is very stressed, and you can never recover properly. You will be very tense. If you train hard, you probably have noticed this. When your body has accumulated a lot of stress, you get some strains here in your neck. It's hard to sleep. It's hard to turn your neck around because you have all of this stress accumulated in your body. And this has a lot to do with your nervous system, not only your muscles. And when you are in a low rest digest state, it's kind of your digestion closes because you're very stressed out and your body thinks that you are in a situation that you want to survive. So it closes digestion and gets your adrenaline up for you to survive. And this affects digestion. When you eat, you feel bloated. You cannot digest the food properly. It causes inflammation. Then you have low energy and you don't absorb the nutrients and you have poorer recovery. And also low testosterone, high cortisol, poor recovery hormones like growth hormone. Testosterone helps a lot with recovery, with healing, for you to heal your muscles, which is important. High cortisol will tank your testosterone and also will get your stress levels pretty high, which will not let you rest properly, will not let your nervous system recover properly. And poor recovery hormones like growth hormone is very essential for your joint recovery, which is very important for you to get as strong as possible and also build muscle as fast as possible. Then this will kill the strength, the muscle growth, sleep, motivation, sex drive, energy, and healing. And all of these things are basically the opposite of recovery, of strength, of vitality, of health. Now, what you have to do, first thing, sunlight and grounding. This is the easiest thing you can start implementing in your routine, in your life, to see some improvements in your nervous system and your hormones. This reset both nervous system and hormones by lowering stress hormones, increasing blood flow. When you have more blood flow, you'll put the nutrients going to the parts that need some healing. For example, you train biceps, the nutrients will go here and heal them faster. When you have lower stress, obviously you'll recover faster, you'll have more strength in the next session, you'll have a better output, you'll feel better, more energetic. Improving sleep quality, this is obvious. The better your sleep is, the more recovered you'll be, the more powerful you'll be, the more muscle you'll build. Boost your natural testosterone, again, for the healing factor, for the power in the gym, for the ability to build muscle faster. Regulating your circadian rhythm also is very important. Circadian rhythm is your internal clock. It regulates the wake and sleep cycles. And when your sleep and wake cycles are deregulated, you may wake up tired. Even if you had 8 hours of sleep, you will wake up tired and be groggy all day or be at night and you cannot sleep. And this is awful for your recovery. By doing these things, 10-20 minutes is enough to change your recovery instantly. Now that is winter, it's harder for you to get as much sun depending on the country that you live, but grounding is something that you can do. Well, it's harder if you live in a big city, but you still can do it. So that's why I'm gonna leave a free guide, shopping list, foods that I eat, that my clients eat, that will help you get started, will help you recover faster, build more muscle, have more energy, better digestion. Will be in the second link in the description. You just have to download it, put your email, and you get it for free. So sunlight and grounding, very important. Try to get it as much as possible, especially in the winter. Now, raw fats. Raw fats is very important because it stabilizes the blood sugar. Your blood sugar being stabilized throughout the day is very important for your energy levels, to regulate your neurotransmitters, which will not let you have cravings for food that you should not be eating, for you to have the most mental power, for you not to have high cortisol or being stressed, which is very important. Feeding your brain essential fats will give you more brain power. Your nervous system, it will feed your nervous system so it can recover faster. Our cells are made of fat, so we need cholesterol, we need the fats for the maximum recovery. It lowers cortisol, which is important too. You don't want to be stressed all the time, or almost never. It triggers calming neurotransmitters, like I said. It makes you at ease. Your neurotransmitters are responsible for your anxiety levels, your motivation levels, hunger levels, all of these things, which are important, which are crucial for you to have energy to recover. Because if you're stressed all the time, if you have cravings, you're anxious, all of these things will affect your recovery. And this will make a big difference. So Eating fats are crucial here, supporting testosterone production, like I said, healing, and all of that, binding toxins. Also very important, raw fats have the ability to bind the toxins in the body, and later on, your body can expel it. The difference of raw fats and pasteurized fats or cooked fats is that raw fats are basically intact, and our bodies recognize it better than when it's cooked. And when it's cooked, it expands, it gets altered, it loses some enzymes, it loses the vitamins, it loses the nutrients, the minerals that our body needs. And we have harder time utilizing it. And also it lubricates our joints, making them more resistant to injuries. It makes them better. So things like butter, raw milk, coconut cream, avocados, egg yolks, all of these are a very good source of raw fats. Then warm exposure. This is very important. A lot of athletes, Olympic athletes, powerlifters, elite athletes overall, do some warm exposure. This improves circulation, which is very essential because, again, when you have better circulation, the nutrients will go to the areas that need to heal. Secondly, lower stress hormones, again, which will make you be in this calm state, support deeper sleep, resets central nervous system, helps testosterone production, short, natural, and very effective. If you live in Japan, you have this onsen, which is very good for recovery. It's water rich in minerals that will help you relax and all of these things. But if you don't, you can do hot baths with good quality salt, raw milk, in the water and sit there for a few minutes to absorb the nutrients, to relax your body. And all of these things are things that I teach in my coaching. So if you're interested, go in the first link in the description and you'll know more about my coaching. Slow evenings. This is very important. Hormone-friendly nights will equal better recovery. Dim lights, no stimulants, warm shower, light raw fat snack, and deep breathing. Your night routine determines your recovery more than any protein shake. True. This is a good example using red lights at night. This will make you produce more melatonin or not let your melatonin get destroyed by the blue lights. And finally, what are the results of this? Well, your strength increases, your testosterone rises, muscle feels fuller, sleep improves, inflammation drops, energy stabilizes, burnouts disappear. You recover like someone on PDs, but naturally. If you rewire your biology, you'll build muscle faster, you'll recover faster, you'll have more energy, you'll be in better mood, you'll build a healthier body and mind. And all of this depends on your gut, hormones, and central nervous system. And if these things are not functioning properly, things will be much harder for you to achieve health, a better physique, have energy, all of these things that makes a person healthy. So let's start with the gut. The gut is basically where everything starts. That's where the food goes, you break it down, you have the nutrients, the minerals, everything to rebuild your body, to nourish your body for health, build muscle, recovery, think properly, not having brain fog and all of that. And when your gut is damaged, weak from toxins, from processed foods, things will be much harder for you because you will not be able to absorb the nutrients properly. This is a big issue. If you cannot absorb the nutrients properly, you will not fuel your body with what it needs to make you healthy, energetic, build muscle, alive. And most people think that the problem with junk food or these toxic foods is just gaining weight. Gaining weight is the least of your worries. The damage that your body gets from these foods is what you should be worrying about. If more people knew about this, they would stop eating junk food or eat way less junk food. These foods will cause inflammation in the gut, in the brain, and you'll not be able to think properly. You'll not be able to focus. You'll have mood swings. Your hormones will be wrecked, and this causes more problems such as mental issues, depression, low energy, no motivation, laziness, and so on. And by eating natural foods, especially raw, you will heal your gut. You'll provide your body with the enzymes, with the minerals, with the vitamins, with the nutrients it needs to rebuild, to give you energy, for you to recover properly, for your brain to function properly, for you to think straight, not have mood swings, for your hormones also to be in a good place, to be healthy. By the way, if this is you, you have gut issues, inflammation, bloating, all of that, and you want to improve your gut, or you have problems with the gym, you're not progressing, you're too tired, you have low energy, you want to go to the next level to achieve true peak health, schedule a free call down below and I'll give you a strategy for free on how you can achieve it. And if you want to work with me, nice. If you don't want to work with me, it's also nice. I'll be glad to help you out. I'll still give you the value for free. I'll still help you for free. I will not force sell you anything. And how do you build a strong, healthy gut? First of all, avoid toxins from foods, processed foods, and even foods that are not processed but still do some damage to your gut. Things with gluten, things with anti-nutrients, such as leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, legumes such as beans. All of these things irritate your gut a lot. By avoiding grains, cruciferous vegetables, and legumes, your gut can be in a better place. Eating more raw foods such as fish, meat, fermented milk, yogurt, eggs, even juices, fruit, raw, fresh, squeezed juices will give you the enzymes and minerals, are all these things that your body needs for it to function properly and not having the damage. Because the more junk food you eat, the more of these foods that are not processed, that I just said, you eat, the more damage you can have. And the longer you are in this, the more problems you'll develop. Because when you're younger, you have a better ability to detox these things, to handle these things are not so good. But if you go years and years and years doing damage and damage and damage, the damage will accumulate, and then you got some cancer or some health issues because of this. And you probably don't want that. So your gut needs to be in a good place. Signs of bad gut would be gassy, inflamed, having this feeling of the food being stuck in your gut. It's all signs of poor gut health. Or you eat a steak and you start burping, or it feels heavy in your stomach. This means that you have some imbalances in your gut. So now, CNS. CNS is basically the wiring of your body. Like every rep you do, every muscle contraction, and even the signals for you to recover are due to your central nervous system. And this has to be healthy and is very lacked, or people don't pay attention to it. But I've made a couple of videos talking about the importance of CNS. I can link it down around here or in the end of the video so you can watch, or you can go to my channel and search for it. So if your CNS is fried, weak, your progress in the gym will stall, you'll be lazy, you'll be very irritated, or you irritate fast. You want to be in bed all day. Everything feels harder to do. If you go to the gym, you've probably went through this at least once. You are so tired at the weight that you can do 10 reps, you do 5 and you cannot do more, and you don't know why. Even if your muscles are fresh, your CNS is fried and you can do things properly. Things like raw fats, cholesterol, animal fats are key to nurture your central nervous system. fats are very important because our central nervous system is made out of fat, and fat will help with the conductivity of the signals in your central nervous system to your whole body. And the fats, what they do is they will rebuild the myelin sheet. The myelin sheet is an insulator, I think that's how you say it, insulator around your nerves. And when you have a better myelin, a healthier myelin, you can produce myelin properly, you'll have faster signals in the body, you'll be stronger, you'll have stronger contraction. You'll have stronger contractions because of that. You'll be stronger. You'll be more explosive too, and you'll be quicker to recover. So this is something you have to pay attention to. And fats, protein is very important for this. And how do you destroy your central nervous system is having split that's not appropriated for you. You're doing too much basically. You're not recovering from session to session or week by week. If you're doing too much on the gym, you'll fry your nervous system, and this is something that you don't want. More does not mean better in the gym, okay? So you have to pay attention to this. If you're feeling too tired, too lazy for no reason, this also can be a sign of it. Stress, not just training, but stress also burns you out, burns your nervous system out. Like you spend hours and hours and hours working in front of the computer, this puts a toll on your brain. You get too tired, your nervous system gets too tired, and this can happen. And now hormones basically command your body, probably how you think, how you perceive the world. Hormones are very important here and neglected also. People think our hormones for man is just like testosterone that makes you big, makes you grow beard and all that, and aggression. But their hormones makes you see the world different. As a man, if you have higher testosterone, like one example here, a man with higher testosterone, super high testosterone, and a man with super low testosterone, high estrogen, how they perceive the world will be different. How they act will be different. So hormones are not just muscle and growing beard and having all these masculine features or feminine features in case of women. So hormones such as testosterone, growth hormone, and others are very important here because these command the growth of your muscles, your recovery, and also masculine features and all of that. And one thing that is very important is your gut and central nervous system directly affects your hormone. If your gut is bad, you cannot absorb nutrients, and this will affect your hormone production. You cannot produce hormones. If your central nervous system is fried, your cortisol will be high, and cortisol will kind of tank your testosterone. And so these two things are very important for you to have healthy levels of testosterone or other hormones. So by now you can see that these three things makes like a triangle. Your gut, CNS, and hormones are all connected. If one is doing bad, it's probably because the other one is doing bad, and they affect each other. A strong and healthy gut will break down the food, the raw materials, the minerals and the fats that will build the testosterone. A healthy, strong CNS will keep your stress levels down, will keep you stable, and this will help you produce testosterone or have healthier levels of testosterone. Because if your stress is high, like I said, your testosterone will tank. Also, your central nervous system deals with inflammation in some way. And if you're giving your body toxic food, all of that, your nervous system will want to We'll use energy to fight off the inflammation. Inflammation is kind of a thing that you don't want. Chronic inflammation, you don't want something that you don't want. Like you have some acute inflammation from training, that's normal. But chronic inflammation from, especially from food, not even training, from food, it's really bad because it consumes your body resources and energy to deal with it. And your body, the first thing he wants to do is deal with this problem. Then he will use the rest of the energy to heal, to rebuild, to give your body things it needs. Some practical things that you can implement today. Start eating more fats, egg yolks, butter. These are animal fats that you can start implementing in your diet more to boost your testosterone, to help you produce hormones. It is easier on digestion, also to rebuild your CNS, to make your CNS stable and calm. Cut processed foods due to the toxins, the inflammation that it causes, the damage that it causes to your body internally. You don't want that. It's not worth it. Everyone who is healthy, who gets to the point where they don't eat junk food, is because they know that it's not worth it. How you feel is not worth it, like the 10 minutes, 2 minutes tasty food. And train with focus. You don't want to fry your nervous system. You want to recover properly. And to recover properly, you want good diet. Your CNS will be working properly. In this video, I'm going to show you how my client, in just 4 months, with only a pull-up bar, resistance band, and some ankle weights, 2-3 kilograms, made more progress than most people that go to the gym for a whole year. I'm a certified coach, a streetlifting athlete, and getting people to start calisthenics, learn to do their first pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, I'd say is one of my strengths. And you can clearly see here that he made quite some progress. It was starting basically from zero to a physique that most men would love to have. And I'm going to show you how. And hopefully I can inspire you to do the same and also convince you to join my coaching. So stage 1 was to get him to do his first 10 clean pull-ups and build that pushing and resistance strength. So what we did, the exercise that we did in this stage was banded pull-ups to get him to learn to do the pull-ups, to feel how it is to do the pull-ups, learn the positioning, to use the scapula, the back for the pull-ups. He already did 3 pull-ups, 35 pull-ups because he was a very light guy, so he could do it with the bad form. And the second exercise was lock-it chin-ups. This exercise, I love it. I do it in my programming, in my routine right now. And this exercise is good because it helps you build that top end strength here, which is the hardest part for most people, and also help you recruit your back, use your scapula, engage your back really well, and use those muscles. Because pull-up is a movement, is an exercise that requires quite some skill to do it properly. And the third exercise was rows. He had these pull-up bars that are in the door, and he took it and he put it down, like in the middle of the door, to do rows. This was game-changing because the rows is basically an enhancer for the pull-ups. It would train your back that in a way that would help you with the pull-ups. And for push, we started off with these 3 exercises, but we did a lot of variations on the push-up later on. You could do around 15 clean push-ups on the floor, so we added something harder like the decline push-ups, which basically changing the leverage, making the exercise even harder. And we use this incline push-up, which is an easier variation, but I loved it a lot, and you also like it a lot. We would do this in the end of the workout, like a burnout set, like 2 sets of as much as reps as possible, like 30, 40, 50 reps. And we would try to progress every single week, do 1 more rep on this one. And he made a lot of progress, and he would feel like this burn sensation on the chest, on the shoulder, on the tricep. And this was amazing. I love this stage more than every single stage because could literally see him going from 3 pull-ups bad form to 10 clean pull-ups. This is like the part that I love the most about my coaching, seeing people doing their first 10 reps on the pull-up, getting their first chest, getting divisions or something like that. So the first stage was a 3-day split. Day 1, we would do RP 8 to 9, day 2, RP 6 to 7, day 3, RP 7 to 8. And why not maxing out every single session? I don't like this method of maxing out every single session because I like recovery. I think recovery is crucial. I don't believe that we should be maxing out every single session. Doing the movement as much as possible throughout the week, but not with as much intensity. For example, RP day 1, 3 sets of 8 reps. Day 2, 5 sets of 3-4 reps. We want to do the movement a lot, but we don't want the intensity, that much intensity. We want to practice the movement a lot. This is how you get those first 10 pull-ups really fast. And I've helped dozens of people going from 0 to their first weighted pull-up. And on the day 3 was a kind of in the middle, okay? And we would do this whole the weeks till the end of stage 1. And he made good progress and he got his first 10 pull-ups. He could see already good development, muscle development. And this took 1.5 months to almost 2 months. Now 1.5 months, he could do 10 pull-ups or less. I don't remember now. And then stage 2, volume, frequency, and harder variations. Here we would do big volumes, a lot of sets, a lot of reps, and do the movement a lot of times a week. This is important for making progress, especially when you don't have a lot of equipment. Harder variations was a key factor here. It gets to a point where you need to make the exercises harder. If you don't have extra weight, you need to make exercises harder. And you do this by doing isometrics, slow eccentrics, explosive reps, changing leverages. Isometrics, we did not only this at the top position, but also the middle position. Hold here like 5 seconds or more, or as much as possible. On the push-ups also, holding here 9 degrees, squeezing your chest, your front delts, your triceps to intensify the workouts. Because just doing straight reps, 10, 15 straight reps gets to a point where it gets super easy. And these little things makes a big difference. Explosive reps on the push-ups, like clapping push-ups, changing leverages. For example, here with pike push-ups is another exercise that we did. When doing on the floor was easier, we added like box. You use it like the chair or the bed to do it. And here's a screenshot of what he was doing. This is probably the last phase. I don't recall, but here you can see like it's a very intense workout. This is just part of it. There's like core exercises down below, but I just took the pull part. Well, here it would do chin-ups, 5-second pause at the top, 4 sets of 10. This is hard. This is a pretty hard set. Then pull-ups, 4 sets of 15, and then rows, 4 sets of 20. If you count it, it's like a lot of reps that you do here, hundreds of reps. And he was a guy with very motivated. He really wanted it. And just to see that if you really want it, you have the motivation, you have the discipline, you can do it. He was a skinny guy. He didn't have any experience before. He just did some martial arts and that was it. And then we moved to stage 3. After dialing in with the variations, seeing the variations that works best for him, we went for stage 3. Which was finding the best routine for him, important when you get more advanced, and doing more reps as progression. Here was to find the right frequency for pull-ups, for push-ups, for squats, for core, challenging variations and exercises, like I said, isometrics, changing the leverages. We were trying to find the ones that were challenging enough to make him progressing reps. Got to a point where when we were doing 4 or 5 sets, we decided to do just more reps, to practice more and more and more reps instead of just sets. I think this worked best. And finding the best split. This was the hardest part, and this makes the whole difference. Most men eat these high protein, low fat, macro friendly foods. They're obsessed with macros and calories. And the thing is, they get in shape. They lose the extra fat. They have a better physique. But the thing is, most of them, I'd say 8 out of 10, regain their weight back, and sometimes even more, and they still feel unfocused, low energy, flat, weak, bloated, and this is because they're focusing on the wrong things. And I think what me and my clients do is superior when it comes to getting in shape, getting stronger, building muscle faster, having better health, better digestion, and more energy. And I'll show you here how I do it and how my clients do it. What is our approach? So the message here is that these macro-friendly, low-calorie, high-protein, low-fat foods are draining your energy and vitality. Here's a quick example here. You have these protein cookies, these protein bars, these complex, high-protein, low-fat, macro-friendly meals that takes a lot of time to make. They make you bloated. They have no nutritional value. You have also salads. A lot of people are obsessed with having these lettuce, spinach, onions, all of these no-caloric foods. But the reality is that you're missing the things that really gets you in shape, helps you build muscle, builds your hormones, makes you energetic and feel good. For example, here we have steak, eggs, and some potatoes. You have here the macro, the micronutrients, the fats that will help you build your hormones, the protein that you actually utilize it, a very complete protein compared to protein powders or these protein bars. So what is the problem here? The problem is that most of these macro-friendly foods are processed foods. Even if the macros look good, the ingredients wreck your energy. For example, artificial sweeteners, seed oils, fillers, gums, preservatives, and they have no nutritional value. Especially nutritional value, I'd say these green vegetables like the lettuce, the spinach, the onions, all of these things that people eat just to fill them up. The thing is, in paper, it sounds good. If you do a quick research, you'll see that, oh, this has iron, this has vitamin B, has vitamin C. And the thing is, the problem with these plant foods is that your body cannot properly utilize and absorb the nutrients there. For example, let's say a food has 100 grams of protein. In paper, it seems good, but the thing is more complicated. You only absorb like 10 grams of the protein, and you have some side effects like gas, bloating, no energy, because you're missing the key micronutrients, and you have anti-nutrients in most of these plant foods. I'm not saying that you should never eat plant foods. You should. And you can, but you have to pay attention to what kind of plant foods you should consume. And when your body cannot digest these well, your energy crashes and it wrecks your gut. It is hard to digest, lack of nutrients, wreck your hormones, which leads to acne, bloating, anxiety, low testosterone, flat body, hard time building muscle. Here a quick example here. These are protein bars that supposedly are macro-friendly, healthy, high protein, low fat, that will make you build muscle, supposedly. But if you look at the nutrition facts, you'll see here a bunch of garbage. You can pause the video and read everything here. So most of the time you're eating garbage. Now, blood sugar roller coaster. Processed high protein foods spike and crash. Blood sugar rises fast, insulin spikes, energy drops hard, brain gets foggy, cravings increase, and this becomes a cycle. And this is not just with high protein foods. This has to do with a lot of these foods that supposedly are healthy, but they are not. They have no nutritional value, they spike your insulin, and then they crash. For example, cereals, even if they have protein. Oats is an empty carb. Bread, processed food also. All of these foods will spike your blood sugar, then it drops, it makes you retarded, gives you this brain fog, low mental energy, causes cravings, so later on you'll eat more. This is a example of how your blood sugar should be, and this is what happens when you eat these processed garbage foods, even if they have high protein. In the end of the day, these high protein bars are just chocolate or whatever bars with more protein, basically. And even these things that guys or girls may make at home are just processed stuff. It's just flour, some seed oil syrup with some protein garbage powder that you can barely absorb. And it takes way more time to make these things than just cooking a steak and an egg and potatoes. It saves you time, it gives you more nutrients, you feel more energetic, you have better digestion, and all of these good things. And the third problem is the hormone disruption, which most people don't know or don't pay that much attention. Bad ingredients will equal to bad hormones. They raise cortisol, lower testosterone, which means low drive, lower recovery, lower mood, lower strength. And there's a study showing that low testosterone in men is tied to increased risk of death. So, by having low testosterone, there's a higher chance of you dying. So, you should be aiming to have better hormones, higher testosterone. This means that you'll live longer. And the thing is, your hormones is basically tied to almost every function in your body. How you perceive the world, how you feel, how motivated you are, if you're anxious, depressed, if you have the balls to do things that you should be doing. And a lot of men nowadays suffer from these things. They have no motivation, they're depressed, they're fat, out of shape, they have low drive, no energy. And this is something that I want to share so man can finally wake up and become man again. I'm not trying to be like this alpha motivation man. Oh no, that's bullshit. So what to do instead? Choose foods that build energy. For example, raw dairy, raw honey, eggs, meat, seafood, fish, fruit, potatoes, fermented foods. These are single ingredient foods. If you do only single ingredient foods, you're doing 90% of the work for you to recover your energy, your vitality, to build muscle faster, to feel great. If you pick a food and you turn around, there's a lot of things written there, it means that you should not eat it. For example, when you grab a meat, it's just meat. When you grab rice, it's just rice. Potatoes is just potatoes. Banana is just banana. There's nothing else there. If you follow this rule, you're doing 80-90% of the job. And then there's a few things here that I teach in my coaching. So if you're interested, first link in the description. We'll talk about it and see if you are a good fit, and we'll work together. A good physique does not mean health. You can see these two examples. This guy looks muscular. This guy looks normal, skinny kind of dude. And you may say, whoa, this guy has muscles, he probably eats healthy and he's healthier. But the truth is, no. If this was the case, bodybuilders would be the healthiest guys ever because they have the most muscle. And why do I say that? Because health comes down to these four things: diet, environment, toxicity, and biology. When it comes to diet, bodybuilders usually have a very inflammatory diet. They eat a lot of carbs, and this is for them to fill their muscles so their muscles can inflate and they can have these sugar rushes, these insulin spikes, adrenaline, so they can have the best workout possible. But this does not mean that is the best thing you can do for your health, because too much sugar is not healthy. And then we have the environment. Environment is also very important for you to have a good health. This picture here is a very good example. This guy is at the beach, fresh air, grounding, having some sun. Meanwhile, this guy lives in a city full of EMF, air pollution. He probably never grounds. He probably doesn't take as much sun as it should. And this also plays a big role in your health. Now, let's see toxicity. Toxicity comes from your diet. Bodybuilders usually have a very toxic diet. Protein powders, too much processed carbs, too much processed foods. They want to have as much calories as possible so they can grow, which is not a good thing for the health. And most of the time, they eat very toxic foods. And then we have biology, which is very important when it comes to health and is very neglected. I'm going to show you here an example. You look at this guy, good physique, seems young, big muscles. Most of the people would say, yeah, he's very healthy. But the truth is, his testosterone levels are very, very low. He made a test of testosterone levels a few years ago, 2 years ago if I'm not wrong. So his free testosterone was 61 picograms per milliliter, which would be one on the lower end of normal. It's technically in range, but closer to the borderline low side. You can see this video and he says everything there. His total testosterone was 473 nanograms per deciliter, which is very low for someone at the age 23, 24 at the time. At this age, you should be around 650 to 700 minimum. And this range here, it's updated according to most people. But the truth is, I believe that the truth range would be probably almost double these. So he's on a pretty low range of testosterone. But you may say, what is the big deal here? He looks healthy. Well, there's some studies here showing how testosterone is very important for male health. Testosterone is a health indicator of male health. Not only testosterone, but your hormones overall are a health indicator. You can pause the video here and read them, and you'll see that how important your testosterone is. He may look healthy on the outside, but in the inside, he's not healthy. If your testosterone is low, it means that you have other problems. Your other hormones are not doing well. Your neurotransmitters are not doing well. Your gut is probably not doing well. And this leads to diseases and many problems, especially mental problems. A good example here is with Alex again. In this video, you can read here. I don't know if I can say it, but he has the looks. He looks pretty good. He has a good physique. He has all the money. He has a good relationship with God. He has his family, but still he has these mental problems. And I do believe that his biology, his hormone levels, his neurotransmitters, his diet all plays a big role here. Because his testosterone was chronically low at the age 23, 22, which is insane. And he had to hop on TRT at the age 20 something, which is mind-boggling. This shows how bad his biology was. And since he got on TRT, he felt way better. And this has been shown in multiple studies that men that hop on TRT, they get their testosterone levels up, they feel way better, they feel less depressed, they have less depression. Now, let's break down all these parts. First of all, we have diet. When it comes to diet, you want nutrient-dense, enzyme-rich, bacteria-rich, easily digestible, and protein and fat-rich diet. Here is a good example. Here you have some organs, some meat, cheese, raw milk, fish, fruits, egg, bone marrow, honey. These foods are those that you should be eating the most. And then you have foods that you should avoid or not eat at all. If the food that you have in your home comes in packages, in cans, these weird labels with a lot of ingredients, a lot of colors, probably you should not eat them at all. And then we have grains. Grains are not the best thing for your health, especially for your gut health. They're not the end of the world, but if you want to optimize things to the next level, you probably should avoid them or eat them as little as possible. And when you eat them, you want the best ones, those who are easily digestible, such as rice or some sourdough bread, which would be the easiest to digest. And this can be included in your diet if you know how to do it well. And by the way, if you want to get your health to the next level, build the best physique ever, have more energy, if you deal with gut issues, you want to optimize your hormones, go in the first link, book a free call with me, and we'll see if we can work together. And the next thing is environment. Environment is very important. Environment is air pollution, radiation, chemicals that you have in your house to clean, dishwasher, all of these things, and stress and trauma. These also plays a big role on your health and diseases. You can pause the video and see here a few studies on how radiation, air pollution, and chemicals can affect your health, your hormones, and all of that. So these things should be avoided or switch them for natural ingredients, which would be better. For example, cleaning products to wash the dishes, to wash your clothes, to brush your teeth. All of these things you can have a natural option that is less toxic. And then biology, very important and very neglected, as I said in the beginning. Your hormones, neurotransmitters, gut, bacteria, and nutrients. When you are deficient in bacteria and nutrients, there's a higher chances of you developing some diseases. Bacteria is very important for your health. It plays a big role when it comes to health. And of course, nutrients. If you're deficient in some minerals and some vitamins, you'll see that you'll develop some issues. Skin issues, losing your hair, mental problems, gut issues, all of that. Neurotransmitters and hormones influences how you feel, how you act, and how you perceive the world. Very important. And when these two things are messed up, it can happen what happened with Alex Eubank. All the money, all the looks, good relationship with God, as a girlfriend, but still, it was not right. And I really believe that hormones and neurotransmitters plays a big role here. So the message here is don't copy your favorite influencer, because most of them are miserable, have a horrible diet, are dying on the inside because of their habits, their diets, and most of them don't report it. But those who report it, like these two guys, you can see that they have super low testosterone and they deal with mental issues, most of them, but they don't share it. Stop worrying about hitting your calories and macros and start focusing on fueling your biology. What fueling your biology means? It basically means giving your body the nutrients and the lifestyle that it needs to recover faster, to build the hormones, neurotransmitters, to have more energy, to recover faster so you can build more muscle and strength. Well, fueling your biology is giving the body the nutrients it needs, like I said, and also to make your gut healthier. Because if your gut has problems, is inflamed, it's racked, you cannot absorb the nutrients properly. Even if you eat 200 grams of protein a day, if you cannot absorb it, it doesn't matter. And this also applies to calories. I've seen a lot of guys who have a hard time gaining weight, and I've coached some people like this, and usually they have some gut issues. Even though if they try to eat as much as possible, they don't see their weight going up. It's because when your gut is a mess, even if you eat a lot of calories, it goes to waste. Your body doesn't utilize it to build muscle, to gain weight, because you flush it out, basically. So fixing your gut is very important when it comes to building muscle, to have more energy, to gain the weight. Also, faster recovery and more energy. And this, of course, will give you a better performance at the gym. And when you recover faster, you build muscle faster, you'll be stronger faster, which is important. Good performance, good recovery, faster progress. And hormones in optimal levels. Your hormones will dictate your energy levels, your ability to build muscle, your ability to recover. Not only that, but develop facial features, masculine facial features, be able to grow a beard, bone density, all of it, which I think is more important than just having big muscles or just training for vanity. I put health in first place. Looking good, having energy, having clear skin, not having your hair falling in your 20s, and then worrying about having muscle and strength. And this method that I do and I recommend people doing, you get the best of both worlds. And the problem with calories and macros is that you tend to binge eat. And binge eating is a sign of deficiency in minerals or vitamins. And the problem is that people who focus on calories and macros don't worry about these things like the health, like the micronutrients, the nutrient density of a food. They just worry about if this food has good macros, I'll eat. Even if it's a junk food, if it has good macros or it has high protein, they will eat. I've seen this a lot. There's this new junk food that has high protein, and the gym bros and the fitness guys, they eat it because it has good protein, even though it has full of seed oil and sugar and processed garbage in there. And this is like the mindset of a lot of gym bros, fitness guys. And I'm in the fitness space. I have friends in the fitness space. I follow people in the fitness space, and they tend to have the same behavior. They all do the same things when it comes to the health part, but the diet. And this leads to nutrient deficiency. And when you have nutrient deficiency, you start developing some health issues, bad skin, your hair starts falling earlier, you have lower energy, your recovery sucks, and you tend to binge eat. And this will develop poor gut health, low energy. And like I said, when your gut health sucks, your ability to build muscle, to have energy to recover, will suffer. And this is usually what they eat. The chicken and rice, the oats with honey, with banana, peanut butter, and protein powder. We all have done this. Every gym guy, influencer, coach has done this type of meals, the gym bro diets. And this diet is very deficient. It sucks. I've done that in the past, and when I did it, my gut was a mess, always burping and farting. My energy was low. Even though I built some muscle, I'm not saying that this method doesn't build muscle. It does, but like I said, I put health in the first place and then the muscle. If you're not feeling great, you don't have energy, your hair is falling, your skin quality is bad, I think it doesn't matter like if you have big muscles. So this is my transformation to show some proof that I did it. Here, 2021, I already had some years of training, like 2 years of like calisthenics, weighted calisthenics training, and some gym training, but my focus was always calisthenics, and I made some progress. I was always a skinny fat dude, and I made some progress. But then when I started experimenting, learning more about these things, the diet, your gut health, nutrient density, eating the right food, started eating raw foods, my physique exploded. I made more progress than ever before in just 1 year. More energy, my performance best. I had more power in the gym. I felt less muscle pain the day before, the day after, and I started developing more masculine features because I was getting all these nutrients that I was not getting basically. And I made a lot of progress, and this is, I guess, the same body weight, around the same body weight. I gained a lot of muscle, as you can see the difference. My abs were showing, my chest, shoulders were bigger, arms, and I made good progress in just 1 year. And then the following year, here I was 88 kilograms, here I was 84, 85, and here I was probably leaner or the same body fat as here. From there, it was just growth every single year. And this was 2024, 91 kilograms. This was in the start of 2024, January, February. And since then, I didn't take any pictures to see my physique. But right now, I'm sitting at 95 to 97 kilograms. And my body fat is around the same here or just a bit more. So I made a good progress. And then, to show you more proof that this works, I did it with other people, which I think is even more important. This is a 1 year evolution of my client. You can see good progress. And I don't know if you can see it well, but he had some skin issues. Here he has some discoloring around the belly area, and this got way better. And nowadays that has completely vanished. And this is, like I said in the beginning, we focused on health, giving the body nutrients that it needed. He started eating more red meat, more eggs, cut all the seed oils, cut all the junk food or most of it, and the body grew, his skin condition went away. This is just 1 year of evolution. And this is the other client. And we never counted calories. And I've never counted calories from that period till now. We never counted calories. I've bulked and cut multiple times without counting a single calorie. And this my client. This is a 3-month evolution. 3-month evolution. He already trained before, but it was inflamed. A lot of inflammation, water retention here around the belly, and we fixed that. After this, he had more energy, he had more power in the gym. This is just to show you that the influence of your gut. If your gut is inflamed, your energy will be lower. You have less power in the gym. I have made a video on this. I'll link it here so you can watch after this if you're interested. But he made a lot of progress in just 3 months. You can see that his waist shrinked a lot. He had more energy, more power, and build more muscle. So if you're interested, if this transformation motivated you, you can go in the first link in the description, book a free call, and let's see if we can work together. The results are guaranteed. And if you don't see results in the first 30 days of coaching, or you don't like my coaching, you don't like me, you get all your money back. So results are guaranteed if you follow everything I've said. And if this motivated you, you are focused on health first and then muscle, fixing your health issues, your low energy, your sleep. Go in the first link in the description, book a free call. Let's see if we can work together. So the old way was counting macros, tracking supplements, hitting your protein. And the new way, where I call my way, is fueling your biology, hormones, gut, CNS, energy systems. This way you get the best from both worlds, the muscle, the energy, the looks, the recovery, everything that will make you healthier, look better. Now, fueling your biology is the real path to building muscle, strength, energy, healing, and health naturally. So in this pyramid is basically what will happen with you when you follow this rule. So the first thing you will notice is that your strength, your performance at the gym will skyrocket. When you start giving your body nutrients, when your gut is functioning properly, you'll see that your performance in the gym will skyrocket. So the first thing is nervous system. Nervous system performance dictates strength output and recovery. Real foods fuels neurotransmitters and CNS stability. So better CNS equals better training and recovery, which equals to better and faster progress. Then gut. In the first 2 weeks, you see your gut getting better, and your gut health controls absorption. You can eat 200 grams of protein, but if your gut is inflamed and destroyed, you're not absorbing it. So fixing your gut is one of the first things you should be worrying. You'll have more energy, better recovery, and this is what you see in the first 2 weeks. You'll see the first 2 things here in the bottom. And then with time, you'll see your hormones getting better. You feel more energy. You'll wake up with hard, basically almost every single day. You'll have this more aggression in a good way, not going out and fighting people, but aggression of chasing your thing, chasing your dreams, having this surge of motivation. And this is a sign of your testosterone peaking. So hormones build muscle. Testosterone and growth hormone depend on cholesterol, fats, minerals, and recovery, not macro and spreadsheets. So when you focus on eating cholesterol, the fats, the minerals, and give your body the lifestyle to recover properly, you'll see that your hormones will skyrocket. And counting your calories will not give you this. Finally, you'll feel energetic, no brain fog, no inflammation, looking good, and having an amazing physique.